We picked up this, looks like a 2003 Kenmore with R22. There's a compressor. That's the compressor trying to start. It might be locked up. I don't know. So this is what it was doing at a customer's house. And it's an ugly thing, but we're gonna see if we can get it to work and see what's wrong with it. So you definitely can. That compressor's on that side and it's trying to kick on every couple of 30 seconds. There it went. It just barely started right now. You can hear that. Yeah, so it wasn't cooling. Don't touch the metal. But it wasn't cooling. Man, it blows good air. Just not cold. Let's get a temperature of this thing right now. See if we can help this thing out a little bit. So it's been running for about 5 minutes. And the temperature is about 67.8, 67 degrees. Coming out. And we're about 82 degrees in this barn. So actually we got 66. And you can hear that compressor. It's a little bit loud. Hopefully the bearings aren't going out, but we're going to take this thing apart and start seeing if just the obvious. Let's check the cord. Let's pull this thing out. Let's look for burnt wires. Looks like that coil's pretty dirty, so we'll clean the coil and all that good stuff. Man, we got 65 actually. Man, so we're at about, man, 18 degree split. Temperature split from the air going in and coming out. It's actually cooling. But we're gonna see if we can get it to start better than it was. And get it to cool a little better also. Maybe even get it to quiet down a little bit. What do you think, Ethan? That would be awesome, wouldn't it? All right, let's do it. Yep. Anytime you see that on your appliance cord, we're not in England. So we just, that tells us something's been getting hot. Maybe it was plugged into a bad outlet that has some gaps in it. You know, your outlets start getting older, you got to start replacing them. But it could be a compressor been starting hard too. So we're gonna take these things off right here, these little connections. Jim, go ahead and get started. And then replace that for sure.
So is your electrical?
Nope, we've got it unplugged, buddy, so we're gonna be good. And I think what we'll do, I think this whole thing slides out, this whole tray. Man, so this has got R22 in it. So what we're gonna put, if it needs any refrigerant, we'll put a bullet piercing valve so we can tap into it.
And we'll separate them?
Yeah, separate them. And put a little 407C in it just to help it out. All right, so we'll get a Phillips right here. Watch out, you're in the camera. There you go. So we'll just put our screws in there. And you know what? If you can maybe look on my shelf, Jim,
Sir?
for another appliance cord in the van. That'll be awesome. Make sure we got no crazy critters in here. Get a old one. Ethan, hey, come in here for a minute. Come on, grab this thing for me. Yep, thanks, buddy. Wow. Okay, let's take a look at this thing. So there it is. Man, it's pretty old and crusty in here. Let me change the focus here. There we go. That's a little clearer. So here's our compressor right here. Man, it was clanging around pretty good, wasn't it? Looks like that's the capacitor for it right here. I don't see any, man, that's been caved in a little bit there, but yeah, that'll work. But I think that was me doing that, because I'm a little crazy. So let me spin this fan motor around a little bit here. Spin that fan motor. Doesn't sound too bad. Doesn't sound too bad. So yeah, I think we'll take this thing off here and look at the connections. It's got a temperature, I believe a temperature switch right on top. We'll look for burnt connection. We'll check this capacitor right off the bat. We'll do that. Looks like we've got a couple of connections down here. Yep. And then I've got ground there. A little ground right here. So how in the world did you get this out of there? I know this has got to come up and off. Okay. I think I'm figuring it out here. I'll take that. Look for bugs. So we'll take that up. And then this should, okay, right here, and over here, pops up, like so, like that. And here is our 6x50. Here's our 6x50. Doesn't look blown up. If you look close at the top where the connections are, it's not blown up. Man, we need to take pictures of this one. So this is going to be fan here on this side. Let's.
Is that removing the charge?
Yeah, it can. Yeah, sometimes they hold charge in them. So that's our fan. So it only has, I think, you know what? Ethan, go get the pliers for me. Set of pliers. We'll take this off and we'll check it. Looks like one might have been getting hot. I don't know if you can see this or not. This one right there, that connection, it should be white or clear like that. All right, there we go. So, take off our red. Here. There's our red, and then we've got 3 wires. Okay, so it's just a connection for our main power. It looks like the hermetic is on that side. Actually, we could probably so that was red on that one right by itself. Let's check this thing. Let's see if it's any good. We'll put our microfarads here. We're going to check on the hermetic side, the compressor side. Let's watch it. 49. And what is it?
6.5.
No, wait. 650. So it's a 50. So the capacitor actually is good. Nothing wrong with it. You could tell that connection was getting pretty hot, but the actual connector piece does not look bad at all. So we'll just crunch it and make sure it's tight on that connection right there. Okay, so come on, take a look over here. So here's our connections to our compressor. Those are thermo. It's like an overload protector here. It's too hot, it's going to cut it out. That looks okay. You definitely can tell it's been getting a little warm, but man, these connections are tight. And so we've got our start winding right here, which is what we know. That was our red wire that went on hermetic on that capacitor. Man, I was hoping to find something crazy in this thing. Can we add a hard start kit to this thing? I think we can.
Where would you put it?
Where would we put it? That's the question, right? Where would we put it? Jim, I have no clue because there is no space in here. You know what I would like to do, though? I would like to get a startup amp, draw this compressor. So let me just put that back. So let's do that. Let me button this up. Glory. Glory. So I'm going to put this back and we're going to start her up.
So warm it on it so they don't come apart.
This one and do the last one. So you just kind of twist them first a little bit. Yep. Shove that in there tight.
I didn't want to tighten it too much so I don't strip it up.
Okay. Yep. All right. Hold on one second. Let's see what we got. We're ready to go. We are. Yep. We've got our common wire for amp draw. Everything's. Oh no, we don't have everything hooked up. We don't plug it in. So we need to hook up our connections down here. So let's hook those up.
So the red one goes to the red one?
Yep. Can't forget the connectors. Right?
Nope.
All right, so we got that. All right, go ahead and plug her in real quick and then drop her. All right. Good job. So we're gonna watch that amp draw. Woo, 162 amps on that startup. So we're just gonna go ahead and just shut that off for right now.
Yeah,
All right, so what we need, yeah, you can unplug it now. So what we need to do is we need to put a hard start on here and see what it does.
I'll grab one.
So putting a new appliance plug, brand new, doesn't help it. It's still struggling to start, man. Look at our lock rotor amps on this guy. You see that? 56 lock rotor amp. We're pulling 160. You saw it went all the way up to 160. So let's put a hard start and see what it does. Bring it over here. All right, so we're just going to put on this Supco Super Boost right here, and excuse me, we're going to put it on hermetic, and then the other one. If there's a slot, there is a slot on common right here. And I'm just holding this thing with this pliers for just added safety. I don't, you know. Okay, so that's all you do. Hook it on common and then hermetic, just like so. So we're going to put this thing back down, just like that. Not yet, Jim. So put that down in there. And we're just going to set our hard start kit right on top, like so. And then now we're going to do the same thing. All right.
Plug it and drop it?
Plug it and drop it. Okay. All right, ready? All right, here we go. See if it makes a difference. Stand back in case it wants to blow up or something. Man, that started up at 9. That started up at 9. Let's do it again. You still could hear like a, you know, they make an additive that quiets down these compressors. It's almost like an oil additive for your car. Man, I don't know. But what we do like is that quick startup. And that's what these hard starts will do. It'll give it a quick startup. Might have a time delay. So the fan is pulling 1.1 amps. The compressor's not starting up right away for some reason. Might have a time delay. Jim, let's turn this off. All right, unplug it. Maybe that'll reset the board right here. All right, plug it back in. Okay. We're going to start it up again. There we go. Let's watch that. Start it up at 15 amps. That's pretty loud. We're at 10 amps right now. No. Yeah. It's asking for a 10 amp cord and a 10 amp plug. It's not giving us a startup or it's a noisy compressor. So we're at 11.8 amps on the compressor, but you definitely feel that cold air. You know what I want to do? Something else I noticed. All right, unplug this right there. Something else I noticed is I want you to look at this, of course, this coil here. This is your evaporator coil. This is where the refrigerant is evaporated inside these tubing. So you can receive that cold air, but also, I don't know if you can see in here. We don't have a flashlight, do we, Jim? Let me see if I can get a flashlight on this thing. All right. So there it is. There's a coil right there. See that, Jim?
I see.
Look how dirty that thing is. That is like crazy dirty. How about on this side over here? Well, you can't really see on that side. But that is dirty, dirty, dirty. A lot of times, we look at the outside coil. So this is the side that would be outside your house. And we say to ourselves, it's clean. Look at it. Look how clean that is. But it's really not. As you can see, right? It's really not clean. So what we're going to do is clean out these coils. And we're going to start it back up and see if we can get better than an 18-degree temperature split that we had before. Doing is taking off the fan shroud for the condenser. We're trying to at least get it into a place where, man, look at all that junk. Bring it over here, look at all this here. All right, you see? Wrapping around the coil, tubings, so heat can't dissipate. You can't dissipate heat or exchange heat because of that. And if you look in here, I don't know if you can see that, but look at how dirty that coil is inside there. So we're gonna figure out how to get this removed, and then we'll bring you back. So this is part of our ionizer. So it's part of the plasma part of ionization. So what that does is it purifies the air. So it's got this metal grid here and it's connected. It's got the two connections and it connects here. And so what it does is it grabs the smallest dust particles and it clumps them together by a positive and a negative. It charges that dust as it gets sucked through the coil. So it's like a filter. and it clumps it into a big clump, so that way you don't breathe in the dander, the really fine, high micron particles. So that's what that's for. This thing is full of stuff. So that's what, Jim, these two connectors were for.
Yes, sir.
It was for that, nothing else. So we'll just take that off because as you can see here, everything went through that. Okay. It was fancy. 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 Come on. All right, so we'll put this on here and cover this up just a little bit. And then I want to take this thing and roll it to the edge. And I want to come in here with a water sprayer and rinse out these coils. We'll see in a minute.
Yes, sir.
Want to come up? Come in and get all the stuff off. Don't do this if you got power plugged in. Just saying. I know what to do. Watch it on the other side. Look at that. Slab locker. This thing is running hot for a long time. And then come in from the side, over here. There we go. Just like that. All right. Let's put some coil cleaner on the evaporator, just a little bit. So if you're an HVAC technician and you don't work on these, which we don't really work on these anymore, when they go bad, we just throw them away because it's kind of more expensive to work on them, really. But don't be afraid to do it. It's going to take some time, but it's the same thing as the central air conditioner. It's the same thing, you know, as a package unit. It's the same thing as, I'm not going to say a mini split, because mini splits are a breed of their own. They have inverter technology and all that stuff, and I don't really care for them too much, but they have their place. But don't be afraid to work on these. So what did I do with that brush? There you are. So we've got a lot of water in here. Show them, Jim. Because I love to get things just messed up and dirty like that. So what I'm going to do one more time is spray into this evaporator coil. And then we're going to dry this out and we're going to button it up and start it back up. See what happens. So what we're gonna do now is we are going to start this thing up and check amp draw again for the compressor. And then we're going to get a temperature split. We're also going to listen to the way the compressor sounds. There are additives you can add. Even, believe it or not, acid scavenger is like a lubricant. So there are lubricants out there that you can add to a system to quiet it down a little bit, so to help that friction to slow down. But let's take a look at this thing and let's find this temperature split. All right, so we're gonna, let's see what we got. All right, let's start her up. Get ready to run. Compressor is still loud. It still has that pulsating, but let's watch this here. This is our metering device right here. It might be slugging a little bit of liquid, I'm not sure. It's actually icing up before. Okay, so here's our capillary tube. This is our metering device, really. We might, okay, think about this though. What did I do to that condensing coil? We over subcooled it, right? Because we washed it thoroughly with water. So our condensing coil, we sprayed it down like crazy. Let's see if this frost starts to go away. Once our temperature starts to rise, once the pressure starts to rise, because I didn't notice that before. Let's give it a minute. Okay, so yeah, that's all it was. We were over subcooling because it was still wet in the condenser. So we want 100% liquid, right? Think heat transfer. So evaporation, we want 100% liquid coming through our line. And this capillary tube is actually our metering device. And as you can see, all the ice or the frost is melted. So if this was a dry condensing coil and it was doing that, I would say, okay, low on refrigerant, but it just needed to warm up. That's all. It was over subcooling. So we had gas coming in instead of 100% liquid, in other words, so yeah. But now we're removing heat. Compressor still sounds ugly, but we've got what is that, 57? Let's let this run a little bit longer. We got 57, and I don't know what the temperature is in here. It says 75, but I think I hit that thermostat somewhere. Let me get the actual temperature in here. Nope. We're at 79 degrees. Coming in. The compressor just shut off because it thought that it hit temperature. So we're going to drop the temperature down. Kick that compressor back on. And we're going to see if we get better than 18 than we did before. And we'll come right back. All right, so our temperature split 59 and 79 coming in. So we've got 20-degree split, so we gained 2 degrees. Colder air coming out, but one thing I noticed, it started doing this again. That means we have unclean liquid refrigerant or an unclean liquid going into the evaporator coil from our condenser, or it's low on refrigerant. So yeah, so Jim, go ahead. We'll see what we're talking about so we can build that pressure up. So Jim will build that pressure up right there. Build up the heat. And you just watch that. See it? So the frost has gone away. So really we need to put a bullet piercing valve and see if it's low. So this unit started freezing up over and over again, and it's 80 degrees out here, so it shouldn't be doing it. So we found a spot here on the suction line. I want to tap the suction. So I've got a bullet piercing valve, and it came with an attachment. It's too small for this diameter. I don't know what in the world that is. Does that look like ½ inch, 5/8? I thought it was a 5/8, but if you look here, it doesn't seat right. You still have that gap right there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this guy on here, just like that. All right?
But don't drop it.
Yeah, but don't drop it. So we'll put this on the bottom, just like that. And we're gonna snug this under there. And apply this guy just like that. And we'll grab these screws that they gave us. And we'll just start screwing them in like so. All right, and we'll be right back once we got it intact. Stop talking. All right, so we've got it attached. These are pretty secure. Guess I'm just gonna, I'll leave that on. That's where you put your Schrader, your gauges. So I'm going to pierce it by tightening this screw. And hopefully it doesn't start leaking everywhere. Okay, it's all the way tightened. So if I back it out, one turn. Yeah. Okay, you hear that? So now we're ready. So I'm going to tighten it all the way down. One turn, and I'm going to go get my gauges, and we're going to see if we can add a little bit of 407 to this thing. All right, cool. All right, so we've got our gauges here. We've got our temperature probe on the end of that evaporator coil. We're going to see how cold it's getting. We've got our pressure set at R22. We've got our bullet piercing valve on that line. We've got it connected. We've got our R47 or 407. We're just going to add a little. Remember, this thing doesn't take much at all, right? I just want to get rid of this freezing up. So what we're going to do is, we've got it tightened, so we're going to loosen it one turn and watch this pressure rise. There it is. Just like so. And we're going to kick this thing on. All right, Jim.
Back up.
There we go. Yep. We'll wait for this compressor to kick on, and we'll come right back when the pressures are running. All right, so we've got it running. Here's our suction pressure, 31. Our superheat is 56. Our line temperature is 65. And then as you can see, we're frosting up. I know for a fact that pressure is too low, okay? So let's add a little bit of refrigerant. Okay, we're cutting it off. Not adding too much there. Hopefully I didn't add too much. I just opened it for a second. And you saw how quick that frost dissipated. So, let it run a little bit. We'll let it run, equal out, do what it's doing. Changing states, gas to a liquid, liquid to a gas, gas to a liquid, liquid to a gas. It's a gas pump. Still have a little something here. I'm gonna bump a little bit more. That's it. All right. I think that's probably going to be it. Let's see what kind of temperature we're getting out of here now.
That feels colder.
Alright, we're at 56.5, 55 degrees coming out. Yeah, we're already at 24 degrees temperature split, so we're way above where we were. And look now, we've got no frost. Look at our superheat, 15.4. We want it between 5 and 20, right? 5 and 25. Something like that. That's it. Our suction on, our evaporator coil temperature at leaving is 53. Compressor still sounds the same. Right, Jim?
Yes, sir. And there's hot air now.
Yeah, now it's getting hotter. We're removing more heat, right? Oh yeah, moving way more heat now. So, but, man, we are cranking out cold. 54 degrees. Yeah, so what did we do? We added a hard start kit. That took that lock rotor amp where it was trying to start 3-4 times and couldn't. It starts every time with 10 amps on startup. Compressor's still a little loud, but it's old. It's R22, maybe a 2002, 2003. So that's 22 years old. That coil was extremely dirty back there. And this one was pretty dirty, but your condensing coil was extremely dirty. So now it's running way better. We can put it back together. It's still ugly. It's still an ugly thing. But man, this thing is kicking out cold. I hope you like this video. I like messing around, tinkering around since I was a little boy. I've always done that, taking things apart. And I used to try to put them together and I couldn't. As a little boy, some of you might understand where I'm coming on that. But a little bit of tools, a little bit of this, you can mess around. and you can get it. So, yeah. So we'll torque this thing back. Crank it down.
But do you have to
Close that thing off. And then let's see if we're good. Yeah. So that needle's seated inside that copper. We're good. And Ethan's gonna put the cap back on. No. Put it tight. Watch that fan blade behind you on the side of your hand. Alright, so that's vibrating like crazy. But man, this thing could work. 12,000 BTU. This is 1 ton. Hope you liked the video. Let me know what you think. Subscribe. I don't know, maybe you learned something different. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what else we could have done. The fan blade in there is pretty clean, so I didn't clean that out. That outside. The fan motor's rated for 1.2 amps and it's pulling 1.1. So that's under. That's right. That's good. That's what you want. Yeah, righty-tighty. Keep going. Nope, righty-tighty till it stops. Yeah. And then you can slowly release it. I mean, I don't know how long this thing will last. What do you think? With that sound? I mean, I don't know. I guess it could be worse. God bless you guys. Keep doing what you do. Remember, if you got a gifting, use it. Use it because that's what God wants you to do. He wants you to use your gifting that He's given you to change the world.